Hey guys, this is Eliot Marshall, former UFC fighter, and this is the Gospel of Fire, where we're going to go through the fire and learn the best way to live our life. All right, guys, here we are. Episode 3 of the Gospel of Fire. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm here today with one of my good friends, Vinnie Lopez. Vinnie and I started, I was fighting already, and then you came to the gym, right? That's yes. How this, right? Yep. And it was it tease or was it grudge at the time?
It was grudge.
It was grudge. Yeah,
okay. Just to become grudge, I think a week prior or something.
And I guess, Vinnie remembers it probably differently than I do. We were, this was a fight team. This was a fight team, and this was our fight team, the guys that were already there. Fight teams, you earn your way. It's like a gang, yeah. Right? It's like a gang. You earn your way in, and you earn your way in my opinion, by showing up and taking the beatings in the beginning.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. And you were the first one to give me that beating. And I loved it. You know what I mean? And I appreciate having to earn a seat at the table. I didn't want to be handed anything. I showed up. I knew I was going to get a beating. You fucking kicked me in the head, which was a little uncalled for, by the way.
But how was it uncalled for?
I don't know. I just feel like somebody walks into the gym today. I'm not going to kick them in the head, but that's all right. That's you. But I can appreciate it because I wanted to walk the hard road to earn the right to say that I was on that team, because it was a badass team, the best in my opinion, and I appreciate having to earn my way onto that team.
Everything that I think anybody that's ever done anything great in their life, it's great because it was hard. There's nothing you appreciate that was just handed to you. Do you agree? There's
one thing, but most things I definitely had to work for. Anything worth having, I definitely had to work for.
So Vinnie's one thing I would say is where we disagree, and I would like to say that we probably both keep each other on our toes a little bit, mm-hmm. making each other think. Vinnie is a strong believer in Jesus. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead. You can talk about your faith. What would you say?
I would say that anything that I've done or anything that I have, I do not deserve, and it was a gift. Especially my salvation has been a gift that I do not deserve. Just the freedom that I get to live out of is why I fight so hard and work so hard. So it's kind of like you always asking me what it is that drives me. What it is that drives me. Is it you? You have strength. You have this. You have that. Well, there's some days I don't have shit. And I get to look to my Creator, my God, my Jesus, for that strength that we're always talking about. And this is, I think, where you and I kind of go left and right. And that's okay. And I love you anyways. You know what I'm saying? We agree to disagree. And like you said, we keep each other honest. But there's one thing that was free that I did nothing for, and that is my salvation.
I personally like ride or die friends. I think you would probably agree.
Absolutely. Well,
and a little disagreement lets me know that we're ride or die. Like a lot of people talk about like, look, you don't know it. You don't, in my opinion, you don't know that if someone's ride or die if they don't dislike you sometimes and stay there, because the easy part isn't the ride part. The ride is fun. The hard part, in my opinion, with friendship is the die part, when you're like, this motherfucker,
Yeah.
Like, and you've been there with your best friends, you've been there with your wife, you've been there with everybody. But that's what makes, in my opinion, true friends.
And I don't even consider you a true friend until we've had an argument that made me want to fucking punch you in the face.
Anybody, you're saying?
Anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Me and Christian, we battle constantly.
I'm sure.
Constantly we're battling. But you know what? Every time we battle, we come and we repair stronger than we ever were. And that's why the friendship keeps growing.
But that's ride or die.
Absolutely.
That's because it survives through time.
Absolutely.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
Good. Sometimes you're like, I'm not going to fucking talk to you for a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that will be fine, like a couple days, whatever it may be. But right. you get back there.
Right.
You get back there. The reason I had you on, that I wanted to have you on the podcast, especially early on, I liked what you said. You deserve none of it. You feel like that. And there's a reason that you probably feel like that. You've had a troubled past, I would say, correct?
Yeah.
Explain your past, please. What is it in your past that's so troubled?
I mean, it starts from day one, really. My story. My mom abandoned me. My father was into extracurricular activities. I was set up for failure, basically, just from generational things. I went to prison. To make a long story short, I ended up in prison in 2005 and got out of there right around 2008, 2009. That's when I walked into that gym and found you guys.
And you say prison, not jail, like not misdemeanor crime.
I was in federal prison.
And I would say probably most people that end up in prison for a long period of time, I would say that's a decent period of time, 3 to 4 years, right? Mm-hmm. That's where they end back up, and they stay in this cycle of crime. And I won't even say it's their fault. Like you said, it's generational. There is in their minds, and I think you probably have experienced this. There's no other way to do it. You get out, and then what? You're a felon, right? You have every job you apply for, you're marking it on there.
Absolutely.
And you're a business guy. I'm a businessman. Mm-hmm. That's hard to get by sometimes, even for you as somebody who went to prison.
Right.
You're going to take a pause on that person.
Oh, for sure. I'm judgmental as shit. I can't help it.
Right.
It's just what's inside of me. I will look at somebody who's been to prison or who looks a certain way, and sorry, I'm human. I'm going to second guess. I'm going to think twice. I'm going to make sure I do my research.
How did you get out of that? How so now you own your own business, right? You're crushing it. You're doing great. You're building your first house. How did you get away? Some action items. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get away from that life, because I'm sure. If that's what you're doing, that's who all your friends are.
Right.
You don't have friends not in that in that don't roll that way. What did you do?
So, truth be told, when I got out, I was definitely on my way back in.
Okay.
I was definitely on my way back in. I was doing things that landed me there in the first place. I was surrounding myself with the wrong people once again, but I had one friend. I had one friend who had been with me down this road and who made it out, and that's Christian, right? And when I got out, Christian was in a really good place.
So Christian was in with you?
Christian went down with me on the same
Were you friends
case.
beforehand?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
We've been friends, me and Christian, since we were 17, 18 years old.
Okay.
We went down on the same case together. He went to a different prison in a different state because he didn't have no family in Colorado. He got out a year before I did, thank God, because I don't know where I'd be had that not been the case.
If you would have gotten out first.
If I would have gotten out first, or if we would have gotten out together, same time, it was orchestrated perfectly. Him getting out early and figuring out a life for himself. He went through a bunch of ups and downs. Anyways, he had a little auto body shop when he got out, and he was a very encouraging force to me to try to find something different.
What was Christian doing at the time?
He was running an auto body shop, the one he owns now.
That one too. Okay.
Yeah. He was there. He was, I think, washing cars or something crazy like that.
Okay.
He wasn't even.
Who owned it at the time?
His father-in-law.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was he already married before you guys went in?
He got married a couple months after I got out. He was waiting for me to get out.
Okay.
Yeah. So he got married a few months after I had actually gotten out. Anyways, strolling along, making all the wrong decisions, frustrated, not knowing which way life is going ahead. And I start training. I boxed when I was younger, before I actually went in. I started training a little bit. And I had this ego about me, this violent kind of I'm the baddest dude on the planet type of attitude, right?
But let's give a description of what Vinnie looks like. And it fits the mold. You're Puerto Rican, right?
Yeah.
You were tattooed from head to toe.
Yes.
You were bald. You were built.
Yeah.
You were physically intimidating. I think you're probably bigger then, right?
Right. Yeah.
Of all the people that you should look at on the street and want to go fuck with, Vinny's the last one. And we kind of joke about this because he always gets fucked with, which is so dumb. Like it's retarded. Like there'll be all of us watching, and one of them, Scott. I'm sorry if you're listening to this. You're the nerdy looking one, Scott. Like with your glasses and your, we'll leave that alone at that.
He's getting jacked, bro.
Is he getting jacked? He's on your fitness program.
He's on the program.
I haven't seen him in a year. So anyway, Scott's the nerdy looking one out of all the group. And they, like, you would think that they would go pick on Scott or something, but they don't. They talk shit to Vinny, and you're just like, look, I fought in the fucking UFC. There's a couple people just looking at them, I wouldn't talk shit to. I wouldn't talk shit to Francis Ngannou. I wouldn't talk shit to Shane Carwin, Brock Lesnar, and I wouldn't talk shit to you. It just looks, you're just like, you know what, I'll pass on this, but everyone does. So anyway, Vinny definitely looks the part.
Right. And you know what? I bought into that. You know what I'm saying? I bought into that looking the part thing. I came out of prison with a chip on my shoulder, man. You know, thinking that I was unstoppable and I had anger in my heart. I had malice in my heart. And everybody who ran into me knew it and they saw it and they felt it. I was angry. I didn't know why. And I was searching, man. I didn't know anything. I didn't have anything to hold my hat on or anything, you know, and fighting saved me, bro. It really did. And, you know, when I tell you I appreciated the ass beatings and me having to earn my place at the table, I mean, it really shaped the way that I can relate in this life, because I would go into those sessions and I would go in with all this. I just felt like this heavy weight on my shoulders, man, this heavy like anger and frustration on my shoulders. And when I went in there and I trained and I rolled or I sparred or we grappled, whatever it was, I came out of there like I literally felt more softness about me. You know what I mean? It did the exact opposite of what you think it might do, where it makes you feel like you're the man. No, I went in there thinking I was the man and I needed to get broken down. And that's what the team gave me, man. It really gave me freedom to walk throughout my day with a different type of outlook, you know?
There's a line in Fight Club, and the line is, after fighting, everything else gets the volume turned down.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're so close to the line. You're so close to, look, another human being has your life in their hands. That's so, I don't even know how to put it, what it is. It's so humbling. Right, it's so humbling that this could be 100% out of your control. Like when someone's choking you, you are putting your life. There's nothing you can do about it. If they choke you forever, you die. You know. Yeah. But I would say the bond that you build with the people that you do that with, it's really hard to break. Yeah. It's really hard to break because and I hate to sound conceited in this way of what fighting does, but there ain't nothing that's so scary in your life than walking into that cage.
No.
You know, like the night of a fight. And like I talked about with Brian Stan, I've never been to war, and I'm sure that might escalate it. I'm sure that might be the one step up. Yeah. But other than that, you have to walk into that cage that night going, I might die.
Yeah.
You know, I might die. This could be my last 15 minutes of existence, and the people that get you ready to do that, it's a life-changing experience.
Absolutely. And I loved every second of it, man. I like to tell people that it softened my heart to receive the gift that we talked about earlier. And I'm not going to turn this into a church service or anything, but that was the missing piece. It softened my heart up enough to know that I was missing something, and it helped me to fill the gap with what it needed to be filled with. And besides that, like you said, the fear of walking into that cage, the fear of walking into the training room,
the gym,
to you guys, to you animals, dude, what it did for me, what it did for my mind, what it did to my confidence, I carry that with me to this day.
I don't think there's anybody that has this story. The people are different.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's the Rashads and the Nates and the Keith Jardines.
Right.
You know, because they were my size. And when I would have to go down to Jackson's and be like, I mean, I can remember when we used to have the hard sparring days, I wouldn't sleep in this hotel the night before. I'm just petrified knowing like, goddamn, like I'm going to have to do 5 rounds with these guys. There's nothing I can do. And they're not going to be nice.
Right.
Like, they're not going to be nice. In my 5th round, when they've been watching the other 4, because like we used to do this thing called circles, where if it was your fight, you stayed in for 5 rounds. Right. I think we did them, you know? Yep. You stayed in for 5 rounds, and you had a fresh guy rotating on you every time. And there was no take it easy. There was no like, oh, this guy's been in for 4 rounds.
Everyone's trying to take your head off.
Everyone's trying to beat you. If they could knock you out, they probably would.
Yep, absolutely. But I tell you what, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No.
I wouldn't trade it for the world. It literally helps shape how I live my life, you know what I mean? And how I want my children to live their lives, you know?
For me, it's what I look back on with my anxiety. for me, it's when I have those anxious times, I'm like, I know I can do this. I know I can get through this because I got through that.
Right.
You know, like this ain't harder than that. Like I know how to suffer. Right. And I think that's what martial arts, especially, you know, martial arts, hard physical fitness, right? It teaches us how to be mentally strong through physical fitness. I think you have that on one of your T-shirts, right?
Yeah, I had another piece, you know, of that, trying to make it out.
Right.
From going in, you know what I'm saying? That was another piece that I look back on to say, there's nothing you can't do. There's nothing you can't make it through. You know? There's nothing you can't accomplish. If you made it through that, and then you made it through the grudge fight team in 2008,
right.
You know, there's nothing you can't do. So I approach my life with that confidence, man, and here we are. You know? And successful. Yeah,
successful with a great life.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because of mindset and experiences that you put yourself through. You know, I've learned this. I had therapy with my wife today, you know, and we were talking about like how sometimes that we would argue, you know, like she'd get upset with me after a fight, let's say. And sometimes I used to feel very resentful about that, you know, like, man, what if, you know, she wasn't angry with me ever about, you know, and man, maybe I would have been the champion, or maybe I would have been nothing, who knows, you know, but all I know is that fate has landed me right here where I am right now.
Right.
And I love fate. I love the place that I'm in. And if you go back in history and you change, I mean, one little thing,
right,
you have a different fate. You know, you're not right here. I don't want to be anywhere other than right where I am. Absolutely. With the good and the bad.
Absolutely, because the bad is always turned into good. You think it's bad in the moment, you know, like me when I look back at all these, you know, the failures,
right,
the lost fights. The fact I never made it to the UFC, that shit used to kill me, man. It used to break me down. Knowing what I know now, you know, I can look at that and say, for me, fate, God had a plan,
right,
and God was working his plan the whole time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I wasn't supposed to make it to UFC. You know why? So that I could teach people how to be in the UFC effectively now.
Better,
you know, better than I ever could have done. You know, I wasn't never going to be the champion. The big shot on the team where all the attention is driven towards. So I had to study. I had to sit there and pay attention more because I wasn't the guy who was getting all the attention. I had to figure out how to be that guy. Right. So now I can show guys how to be that guy. You know what I mean? You know, my gym, my wife. It's all for a reason. I believe that there's no accidents. There's no mistakes. It's all the way it was supposed to be.
We think very similarly.
Right.
You know, like, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, is because we have just so much division in this world, especially on a topic like religion, and people just like can't be friends. They can't. They can be like superficial, artificial friends. They can be like, I see you at a party, friend. You know, and I don't think we see each other at parties.
No.
You know, I don't think we see each other at parties. But if I had a list of 5 people that I would call if I needed something, and I had a pretty solid idea that they were showing up, you'd be you. You'd be on my list, because I don't need to hang out with you every day. I don't need to. That's not friendship. That friendship again is that disagreement.
Right.
But that loyalty of you know where you come from, and you love it, right? You love that disagreement. It's just easier to do it the other way. It's easier to agree with everybody and stick in your circle of people of we are like-minded and we think alike on these especially bigger issues.
Right. Then nothing ever changes, right?
Yeah.
Then nothing's ever challenged. Then nothing ever progresses. We just all stay the same fucking boring ass people.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's that? What's the point of that? I was just saying when you were saying a second ago that you didn't make it to the UFC. I used to believe that I would trade anything in my life but I only had one kid at the time that I was fighting. I would trade anything in my life at the time to be the champ for a day. Just let me really be the champ for one day. I felt like this for a long time, even post-career. And I don't feel like that anymore. Like what I have in my life now with my friends, with my family, with my school, with my students, I fucking love my students. Like the people that walk in my academies every day, oh my God, like when I'm gone for a period of time, like on vacation or traveling, I just took a month away. Oh, I miss them. Like my heart generally has some sadness in it because I don't see my students every day. And if I was the champ, I don't know if that would have happened.
Right.
You get so me-centered, and maybe this is speaking, maybe the champ is going to listen someday and be like, these fucking assholes are only saying this because they're not the champ.
I could hear that argument.
And I don't know what I would say to that argument. But all I know right now is where I am right now in my life, even in this very second, sitting here with Vinny, I would choose to be no other place. And if I chose to be somewhere else, I need to adjust my life so that I am there. I started out this podcast with why the fuck versus what the fuck episode. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
What is your why in your life?
My why is definitely the provision and protection of my family.
Okay.
The provision and protection of my family. And sometimes unhealthily, that takes precedent over my following of Jesus, my honoring of Jesus with every decision that I make. And I know that always, for me, I know that comes first. That's supposed to come first. But I'd be lying if I told you it came first all the time.
I like you even more.
Yeah.
I like you even more. Because everyone always says God, family, and then whatever that other thing is. What is it? God, family, what?
I don't know. I just go there.
Yeah. I want to say that they're lying.
Right. And you know what? Most of them are.
Yeah.
I can't do that perfectly all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I try. Trust me, I try, dude. I pray about it. The fact of the matter is the provision, the protection, the leadership of my wife and children is sometimes insurmountable as far as the importance of why I do what I do every day.
I like you even more. And I didn't know that because almost every religious person says God first. And I gotta say, you're a fucking liar. There's no way if you literally thought you saw God over there and a car was coming at your child or your grandchild. Now you have a grandchild.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And your choice was to be like actually go talk to God or save your. There's no fucking way you're gonna go save your child.
Right.
Everyone would make that decision.
Yeah. And
I won't fault them. Mm-hmm. And that's where you would say Jesus came for us.
Right.
And I don't know what I say. I listen to I'm struggling. I'm reading Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life, and I really like the rules. I'm not sure how I feel about Jordan Peterson himself, and he uses these archetypal situations with the Bible, which you would disagree with, but the way he does it is really amazing. It's the next book.
I've heard. Somebody sent me the book. I'm going to start. I'm going to start it.
The rules are amazing. I'm unsure if he's a piece of shit, racist, misogynist or not yet. I'm still on the fence there. He might sue me now for defamation of character, but whatever. Like Henzo says, by the grace of God, I get to have problems.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. That's episode 3. Vinny, I appreciate you coming down. Tell everybody about what you're doing, your gym, and all that.
I run a gym. It's called Vital Strength and Fitness, right off of 8th and Lincoln, 800 Lincoln Street, right kind of in the Golden Triangle near downtown. Strength and conditioning facility. Please come check us out. We have classes, boot camps, personal training, anything you want, you can get in there. So come by.
And where can people reach you on social media?
At Vital Vin Lopez on Instagram and Vinnie Lopez on Facebook. I don't know how to do the damn Twitter thing.
I just don't like it that much.
I don't like it that much.
It's for these like news blitzes,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And
terrible.
It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's it. I appreciate everyone tuning in to this week's episode of the Gospel of Fire. We'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Hey, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of the Gospel of Fire. Hit me up on my social media at FireMarshal205 on both Twitter and Instagram. Give me a follow at my fan page on Facebook, Eliot the Fire Marshal. Give a subscribe on iTunes, on Stitcher, wherever you're listening. Throw a review up there. We'd greatly appreciate it. We'll see you on the next episode.